Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to all of you to this new video with me, veerle.debruyne, and let's just dive into it with me. And I see that you can see very well that I haven't ironed my shirt, you know, and I don't care because I'm a bit on a vacation mode. I'm a bit on a vacation mode here, and this is all about detachment, this eclipse time, because I'm going to be talking about the eclipses, and I hope not too long video, because I want to be precise and concise without too much blah blah blah, and for each sign. And it's all about detachment and healthy detachment here that all of us need to go through with the eclipses. Now there is an eclipse on Friday. Maybe for some of you, depending on where you live, on Thursday, on the 20, well, it's on the 20 degrees roundabout of Cancer, but it's not a heavy eclipse. Why? Or not a really important one? Because the North Node is still in Leo, and the Sun and the Moon are in Cancer, so there's a lot of degrees between it, and that's why it's not as important. So I'm going to be focusing on the eclipse on the 27th of July, not on the one on the 13th of July, which is a Cancer one, but the one on the 27th of July, which will be the one at 4 degrees of Aquarius. And I'm going to be talking about that. Why? Because it's an extremely important one. Because of the power of it. It is a full moon, so the sun will be in Leo, the moon will be in Aquarius, and guess what? Next to the South Node and next to a retrograde Mars. And this is unique. This is very, very unique, maybe once in a lifetime that we're having this constellation. Now, what is this all about? First of all, I always start with, this is a book of Bernadette Brady, and this is about eclipses. And I want to talk, I put a link below about the Saros family, about eclipses. It gives you, for the nerdy people who are a bit obsessive about astrology, I'll put a link below and you can look it up yourself what it means. But this eclipse belongs to the family to our Old North. That is the eclipse family. What kind of eclipse is it? Because sometimes we have very easy eclipses. We have eclipses about, you know, prosperity, and sometimes we have very challenging eclipses. This is a challenging one. Oh, we didn't know that, did we? I mean, on an intuitive level, we can feel that this is, you know, a very interesting time, but also a very challenging one. If you are someone who says, by hearing this, you say, oh, I don't want to hear it, put off the video and stop watching horoscopes, because astrology is here to strengthen us. And choose your astrologer that, because there are plenty of good astrologers out there. Pick out one that doesn't give you the fear feeling, that gives you the, yeah, after seeing that, they tell me the truth, but I feel stronger. That's the astrologer you need to look at. Everyone resonates on another part of another energy level, and astrology is to strengthen us, not to take power of us. So being scared is not because of the astrology, it's how we perceive it, okay? Well, it's a double thing. But anyway, something for another video. Now let's focus here on this 27th of July, this eclipse time. In general, what does it mean? When there is an eclipse where the South Node is with the Moon and Mars, it's all about, and especially in Aquarius, remember, Aquarius, what is Aquarius all about? It's about detachment. And in a negative way? No. We need to have healthy attachment in our lives, whether it is a relationship, whether it is an attachment to our work, to the part of identity that we connect with ourselves and through that kind of thing that we do maybe. And healthy attachment means not too much, not too little. It means I'm healthy, I'm a human being. I recognize form, but I also recognize that I am me a bit more than form. And I detach from all the troubles that are around me so I can you know, go through it more easily. That's what we can all learn about Aquarius. That's why Aquarians, it's their strength. It's sometimes people say that Aquarians are very detached and they're not emotional, or they're, it's not really like that. What it is that these people, most of them have great sense of humor, because what does humor do? Sometimes in difficult situation, it detaches you from it. And so you can keep on going. And that's what we all need to go for with this Aquarian energy. We all will have some difficulties, or, well, I hate to say difficulties. That's, you know, I love to say challenges, because watch out what we say, because words have an enormous power, And so when we have challenges, we need to tackle it like an Aquarian. We all have Aquarius somewhere in our chart, but that's what the universe is speaking to us. Tackle it as an Aquarian and you will tackle it way easier. Still, you have to go through some challenges there, but tackle it like an Aquarian. So what is that? It is like, okay, looking what's going on around you, but still staying centered and being a little bit detached there, having a good sense of humor. All these traits will help you to get through the eclipses and with the most success, because that's what we all want. Mars is there too. And what does Mars want? It wants healthy boundaries. It wants, Mars wants to be assertive. It doesn't want to be a doormat that people walk all over them. And Mars doesn't want to overpower and be super authoritarian and dominant. What does Mars want? It wants to be assertive. It wants to say, hey, I respect you, but this is my truth. And this is not easy in itself, but it's into the mixture of the eclipse. And you will feel it through July and August, really. I'm not going to talk about the eclipse of August. I'll do a separate video on that. But really, that's what it's all about. So it's a huge thing on our plate. And it's an enormous opportunity of when you think that you're not healthy at a certain level, when it comes to boundaries, when it comes to you standing up for yourself, then this is actually the time that will help you to get more healthy. See it that way. So if you're having some, and I'll do it for every sign, but if you're having some troubles that are so hard, keep in mind that you've got the time to solve it, that you have to take it each day at a time, like an Aquarian, and that it is there not to make you a hard time, but to clean up, because that's what Mars wants. Mars wants to fix problems, and it will make it worse first, okay? So if it's a relationship, for instance, that you're saying, this relationship with a friend or whatever, it's just, terrible, it's a reason for that, because what eclipses do, it kind of does a setup. It kind of says, you're going the wrong way and I'm putting you on the right way again. You can do two things. You can just fight against it, which will make it harder because you're not stronger than the universe. I mean, and I'm not saying of giving up here, but what I'm saying is be realistic. Or you can say, yeah, something needs to change and I'll work on it day by day. What another person does, you can't just, you can't, you know, it's already enough by doing your stuff. So this is what it is. It's a lot about letting go of something. Letting go of something that is, because it's the moon and it's Mars, so that is quite emotional. That is quite an attitude that needs to go. It's outdated, whatever it is. It needs to go. And the easier you let it go and you go through the pain, the better it will be for you. If you're sensing that you're fighting against something and your gut feeling says, feel let it go, then please do. Please do. Now, let's get to the signs here. We'll start with Aries. So Aries, for you, this is happening in your 11th house. Now, for Aries, of course, in general, these are general horoscopes, mind you. You can learn something from it, but if you want a tailor-made, go and find yourself a good astrologer. I do astrology readings, but I have a bit of a delay now because I'm taking a bit a break. But I'll get next week, I'm full on. Now, Aries, it's not that bad for Aries. Why? First of all, it's in the 11th house. Aquarius is sextiling your sign, but it is your ruler that is involved here. So actually, if you're feeling that, for instance, a friend is really getting toxic, is really getting like a parasite to you, don't force it. Let it go. Send good grace to the universe and say, you know, this person needs to go. Be detached a little bit and it will solve itself. Don't try to force things. Don't say that, oh, I know this friend for such a long time and da-da-da-da-da. If that friend needs to go, he or she needs to go. And I mean, it doesn't mean to say that they will be out of your life for the rest of your life, but it means like now there's a bit of a timeout. Sometimes that's very useful to, you know, literally giving each other a bit of space. And you will make place for new ones that suit you better. It's just saying to the Aries people, look, some friends don't suit you anymore. Accept it, don't fight it. On another level, because the 11th house is also the income that if you're working on your own. So it could be that you are a bit too attached towards something that has to do with income. So again, the same rule over and over again, detach yourself from it. Could also mean a group, maybe the social media. Maybe you're saying, Facebook is not good for me anymore. I'm detaching myself. That's why I'm not on Facebook. But anyway, I have a moon in Aries, by the way. So, but that's a long time ago. So these kind of things, or what else could it be? I think that's the most important. So you see, for Aries people, it's not life-threatening. I think you get through it. Let's go to Taurus people. Taurus is a fixed sign. All the fixed signs are going to feel it the most, which are Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpio, and Leo. So you 4 signs, you will feel these eclipses the most. So Taurus, why? Because it's in a very important part of your chart, which is about home versus work. That balance for most of you. For some of you, it's going to be something else. But let's start with for most of you. So this thing of detachment, this thing of don't force it. You're forcing it. You're putting too much willpower there. This is in your 10th house of work. So many Taurians will feel that there's something going on at work that isn't matching their gut feeling anymore, that needs to go. Don't fight it. Trust the universe and go through the pain that you're going through. Maybe you're doing way too much. And don't wait until the universe gives you, you know, a disease or something so that you have to wait. Be very clever. Be like the Aquarian. Laugh with it. Put some sense of humor and go towards the North Node, which is Leo. I forgot to tell that for everyone. But this is all about follow your truth. Really, not selfish truth, but your deep, deep, deep truth, and you will do good for everyone. Even when everyone won't like it. You know what I mean? So for Taurians, be aware of not doing too much when it comes to work. When you have troubles with bosses, it could really, really explode. Let it explode. Things need to happen for a reason and go on with your life. It's going to be way better than before. So don't try to fight with the universe, okay? So there's something about an emotional attachment that's way too strong towards work that you need to let go of. You know, the world will continue without you on a certain level on work. That kind of energy. For other people, maybe you're studying, and for other people it's a parent, mother. Maybe you need to do that. You need to detach yourself from your mother. You know, that's hard for all of us. Some do it at 12 years old, or the others do it at 60 years old. It doesn't matter. For you, it's very important. It's your social status. It's also there. So for a lot of Taurians, it's very, very important because our social status, like being married, being single, it can also be that you have been single for ages and now you're getting married, and an old you is getting away there. Is getting away there. My English, oh my God. Is just detaching yourself from your old self. That's what I want to mean, what I want to say. And it needs a little bit of, you know, fighting there on the inside. So also bosses that are being authoritarian, and, you know, detach yourself from it. It's not worth it. Make your decisions. and, you know, do the things that I just said about the Aquarian energy. Next, so as I said, I'm taking a bit longer for these 4 signs because it's more important. Gemini. Gemini, again, not a very difficult energy here. Why? Because Gemini and Aquarius are both air signs. They understand each other. It's happening in your 9th house, which is not a bad house at all. Not a very important house when it comes to challenges of life and death, you know, that kind of thing. But it can be enormously beneficial when you let go, you know, the moon and the south node and Mars, when you let go of a certain vision that you used to have. So you need to let go of some sort of vision that you had in order to get a new one. And I'm saying it's not important, but actually the 9th house, which is the house of our connection with our philosophies, with our higher self, with God, if you like, with the universe. And if that changes, all the rest changes. So a lot of you could drop a certain idea, drop a certain vision, drop a certain study, or study a new one. It could also be a total new attitude towards life. Like, for instance, if you've always been like, I'm going to push hard, push hard, push hard, maybe now you're saying, I'm going to let go a little bit. Or if you used to be someone who always says, I'll go with the flow, maybe now you're going to be a person who is a bit more will-powered and finding that strength there. So that's what's happening to the Geminis, which is great news. Just a challenge when you're traveling. It could mean that things happen that you didn't, you know, that you don't really like. So when you're sitting on a plane, maybe the plane won't go or whatever. But again, think of, you know, accept it, accept reality, laugh with it, and you'll get through it, okay? So that's for the Geminis. Next, for the Cancerians. For the Cancerians, this is happening in your 8th house. Now, this is a bit of an ego death that is going on there. So Cancerians already have that little eclipse there on now Friday on the 13th, which is something like quite positive because that's a totally different energy. But I think together with that, the eclipse of the 13th and now on the 27th in the 8th house, it's all about ego death. It's something that dies to be able to reborn like a phoenix, you know, and let go of what is wanting to die there. Of course, it's in Aquarius, so it could have to do with, you know, groups of people, friends, whatever. But it's in the 8th house of transformation. So there's a lot of transformation going on for the Cancerians. Again, Cancer is a sign that can be a bit protective towards what it loves. So don't be too much of attachment. Again, detach yourself a little bit of what needs to go. And although it might be for some of you a bit more painful than for others of you, know that it's time and know that there is a whole new chapter for you starting off with these eclipses. Because the 8th house, although it has to do with money, so for some people it will have to do with maybe a loan that's ending. There needs to be a little bit of work done there because Mars is in there. A loan that is ending, or you need to do something to end that, or money from other people that is not coming through, or there's a change in that. Could be the case, but for most of you it's on a psychological level that there is like you know, with ego that dies. So if you feel that your ego is really interrupting with a certain situation, let go of it. It's not going to help you. It's going to even make it even worse. So take the advice as you want it. Now, next, Leo. Of course, Leo, again, a fixed sign. You're one of the 4 signs that it's going to be very, very important. Certainly when you have a Leo rising, but even when you have a sun in Leo or a moon in Leo. What does it mean? What's happening there? It's your relationship. It's your love relationship, your one-to-one relationship with your lover, with your spouse, with your girlfriend, boyfriend. It's also business partners, or it is also someone who's, if you're single, someone who's very important for you, maybe a mentor, someone that you are consulting. And what is happening there is very interesting. It means that there is some sort of dying there as well happening. Of course, I don't mean that the person will die. That will only happen like 0.0005%. But that's extreme cases, by the way. But what will happen is that there's something that needs to go when it comes to attachment towards a relationship. And it doesn't mean necessarily to say that you're going to lose a relationship. No, what it means is you can't do business as usual. So take that as a good advice and see what needs to change, and try to do your best. I mean, you know, you can only do your part, but it certainly means that the emphasis needs to be on you. You have to choose for you. And sometimes that's difficult in a relationship because you think, oh, if I rescue them or if I help them, I will be helped too and they will be helped. No. That's not what the universe is saying. The universe is here saying to you, to the Leos, choose for you. And choose what your gut feeling is saying, and then you will be fine. Even, I'm not going to say that, you know, that other person is going to fight it. Of course, because when we make changes, we first have to accept the change within us, and then it all starts with the people around us, of course. But then we are already a bit stronger, and you can deal with that. So new relationships can come in for the Leos, but first there needs to be a letting go of a certain, not particularly a relationship, but a certain attitude towards relationships. Maybe you have given too much and you're saying, now is enough. Of course, the other party will say, oh, I'm not dealing with that. Of course, but you choose for yourself. Or maybe you haven't done too much in a relationship, and now the other person is saying, hey, I want, you know, that you do this and that. And then you can choose what you feel good about. If you say, yeah, I need to change, you do it. If you feel like, I don't want to do it, don't do it. You see what I mean? It's a very interesting one for the Leos, especially when you have some planets around 4 degrees of Leo. Virgos, this is happening in your 6th house, in your Virgo house, in Aquarius. What is this all about? It's about health and it's about work, your day-to-day work. These are the big themes of the 6th house. Let's start with health. If you are now having some sort of a health issue going on, don't panic, Virgo. Be the Virgo. Just do day by day. Use your sense of humor. And maybe some alternative medicine. Oh, of course, alternative medicine is always complementary in my point of view. I always combine the classical doctor with alternatives. I mean, and that, in my point of view, that works best. But again, if you're having a health problem, go and dig to the bottom, because Mars in the 6th house is very good to fight a disease. Mars in the 6th, Mars could be, you know, because it's Mars, it's inflammatory, or it's bacteria, or whatever. It is that kind of energy. That is a bit alien to you because it's in Aquarius. It's like, oh, I never had that before. But no, Virgos, the good thing about Mars in the 6th house, and a lot of people forget that, is that you can battle this, whatever it is that you're having a problem with when it comes to health. You can battle it, but it'll take time. And it will get better at the very end of August, because then Mars goes direct again. So be patient, battle it, but don't do too much. Like the Virgos, they want to fix it tomorrow. That's not going to happen. Try to learn from it. It has to do with boundaries as well. You know, Aquarius, the 6th house, it's about your attachments or detachments. And that's giving you that, you know, that could be the cause of your health issues. If you're not having health issues, it's not about that. It's probably about work or your day-to-day routine. Something needs to change. And for you Virgos, that's not really a bad thing. You kind of like it. You kind of like to reorganize yourself. Again, my advice is do it day by day. Don't want to do it all and don't want to do it perfect. Do your best. God does the rest is a very good advice for you Virgos, and you'll do well. The Librans are having this in their 5th house. With Librans, it's an air sign. It's the same as Gemini and Aquarius. So this is quite good energy. But it's in your 5th house, and Mars is there, and the Moon is there in the South Node. So something needs to change when it comes to your heart chakra here. And you need to let go of some of your attitudes that consider children, that consider love relationships. I mean, you know, when you're in love, and that consider projects. So maybe a child is saying, look, Mom, I'm 18 years old. I'm going to study at the other side of the world. And you're really hating it. You're very attached to your child, which is all very human, by the way. But you have to let her or him go. That's just an example. If it's not about children, you can maybe have to let go of a lover. Maybe the way that you love is too toxic, too, you know, entangled, and Aquarius is saying, be a bit more detached. Go a bit more for, you know, what you like, instead of people pleasing for a lover. You know, that kind of energy for Libra. So I think, yeah, for Libra, it's not easy to just not people please. So that could be a tricky one when it considers love. For others, it's just a project. It's a project that you've been working on for a long, long time, and you want it, and maybe you're a very strong-willed Libran. They exist, they do. Strong Librans that, you know, but being that strong-willed isn't always, you know, sometimes it has a pitfall, and you're in the pitfall if you're having this in your life, that you're working on a project and you're doing a little bit more, and you're doing a little bit more. Stop it. Stop it, let it go. That's what the universe is saying to you. So it really depends on, you know, if what I'm saying here, that it resonates or not. If you're saying, I don't have any children, then of course you don't have to listen to the children part. Okay, next. After Libra, there is Scorpio. Whoa, again, a fixed sign. Very important here, because this is happening at the root of the chart, which is your 4th house, which is a well-being house, which is an emotional house. And Scorpios are already that very, very emotional and serious. So what is this all about? It's about letting go of an emotional attitude, of being too attached maybe towards home, maybe towards a family member, maybe towards how you exactly want your house to be. And or maybe literally your house. So maybe you're trying to sell it, it's not working, maybe your pricing is like that, you know. Let it go, be like the Aquarian, laugh about it, it's just a house. Detach yourself a little bit. Scorpios, they do have a bit of a challenge here with this Aquarian energy. Why? Because it's so not them. Scorpio is all about intensity. And it's all about that ownership. And just like the Taurians, basically, Taurus and Scorpio, what they do have in common is that they hold on to things sometimes way too much. It's very difficult for them to let go. But here the universe is saying, it's time, Scorpio. So trust the universe, and you will see that if you do so, you will be better off afterwards. Even if you think now that you're not, you will be better off afterwards. And Scorpios are very intuitive, so they know. They know when they are fighting for something that is that already. I mean, figuratively. And so now you're getting at that stage, because Mars is also your ruler, your ancient ruler, that stage of I need to let go, but it can be a bit emotional for the Scorpios, but you'll get transformed here amazingly, and you will be stronger afterwards and healthier in your attachments. So the downside of a Scorpio is that they do attach something sometimes too strongly, too symbiotic, so to speak, and that's not healthy. So this Aquarius energy is saying, you have to get back on track, and we want you to be on the right path here. And so you will. Now next after is Sagittarius. Sagittarius, what is going on for you? This is in your 3rd house. It's not the most difficult, most challenging eclipse for you, the third house, but it can cause some challenges with siblings. Maybe a relationship with a sibling needs to change drastically. That doesn't mean to say that they have to be out of your life, but you know, a change, and not just a tiny little one. It's a change of attitude. Maybe a sibling was taking too much from you, or the other way around. You took too much and you didn't give enough. So now this Mars is saying, I want justice here. I want Aquarius. I want equality. Equality, another word here. So that could be going on for you on another level. It has to do more on a basic level, like your communication, the way that you think, completely changing. Maybe a bit the same like the Gemini. So you've been thinking in a particular way. Maybe now you're thinking just the opposite way, and that's good. Letting go of a certain pattern of thinking is for the Sagittarian already something that they do quite easily. So because of experiences come up and they change because of that. So it could be very interesting for the Sagittarians. There is some experience that they need to, that they see that they need to change their minds. And what else is the third house? It's also short trips. So maybe a short trip could be cancelled. I had that actually. I have a Sagittarius rising. That's not too bad, is it? Of course, it costs money and all of that. But remember, think, okay, I'm listening to the universe. I let it go, detach myself and go on with your life. That's the kind of energy and the kind of attitude you best do. Now, next is Capricorns. This is happening in your second house. Now, the second house is an interesting one. Of course, Capricorns, normally Capricorns are very practical people. I say normally, not all of them. That depends on your whole chart. So they are quite longing for stability when it comes to matters of money. The second house isn't just a money house. So for a lot of people, it won't be about money. But I start with that because it's the easiest to explain. So a lot of you could be losing a bit of money, or there is some project that you need to let go of, or the best thing that you can do actually, Capricorns, is clean up the house. Clean up the house is a good one for the Capricorns because that's the most positive explanation of it, because it's the moon and Mars there. It's working a lot about the things that you are a bit too attached from. Declutter the closets, everything. It's a good time. It's karmic. It's very karmic. Get rid of all the stuff that is just way too heavy for you. On another level, it is your confidence. So something needs to change. You need to become a bit more confident about yourself and accepting yourself a little bit more. Maybe you are too and you're saying, oh, maybe it's just about, oh, I don't care, I eat healthy and I see what comes. Or the other way around, maybe you're just a bit too skinny and you're eating and you're eating and you're eating and nothing happens. Well, accept that you're